guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for checking us out. This is like the first theory that I actually got introduced to, and that's why I don't mind doing it, even though it's old as dirt and the sun is moving, so the lighting is changing, so bear with me. This is the Rugrats Theory, and it's a good one in my opinion. Let's just jump right into it. So first, it starts off with the Rugrats, the TV show that came on Nickelodeon in the 90s to early 2000s, and then got a spin-off later, which we'll get to. It's about them growing up. So these are cartoon animated babies that just run around screens and see the world from their baby perspective. Or do they? This theory states that Tommy, Phil, Lil, and Chucky are all figments of Angelica's imagination. Apparently, Tommy Pickles, the main baby with the blue shirt, diaper, and a screwdriver, never existed. As soon as he came out, he was born still, a stillborn. And Angelica never got to meet him, but because she's the niece of Stu, she found out that it was supposed to be Tommy, so she named him Tommy, and she found out that he was a boy. So there you go, and that's why Stu is always in the basement making toys for his non-born child. And he's obsessed with them because if Tommy was alive, that's what Tommy would play with, these toys. Next, we'll move on to Chucky, Tommy's best friend. Chucky is a year older than Tommy and is also not alive. Chucky's mother in the show is dead. She died during childbirth, and so did Chucky. That's why Chucky's dad is always super sad, because he lost the love of his life and his son. And then Phil and Lil DeVille were aborted as soon as their mother got pregnant, and Angelica never knew if it was going to be a girl or a boy, so she did both, which would explain the rhyming names, because I don't know many parents that would actually do Phil, Lil, that both rhyme with their last name. I think that's just cruel. So you're probably thinking, but wait, why would Angelica be seeing all of these babies? Because she's schizophrenic. So apparently her mother, her birth mother, was on crack when she was conceiving Angelica, and soon died of a crack or heroin overdose, one of those, after Angelica's birth. And it's very important that you know that Angelica saw her, because she had like ratty hair and she had dirty clothes and always wore the same thing. And if that reminds you of anyone else that could ever be anything, I don't know why. Angelica carries the Cynthia doll around because it reminds her of her dead mother, who subsequently died during a drug overdose thing, which is the reason why Angelica is seeing all these babies and is going crazy. So Angelica is very aggressive, and she's very schizophrenic, and she's having mental problems and stuff, and she's only 3 years old. So her dad and her new mother, her stepmother, get pregnant and have a baby, and this baby is now Dill. But Dill is a real baby. You're probably thinking, well, wow, at least you got one right. Except for Dill, if you watch the later spin-off series, All Grown Up is known as being out there. There's something going on with him. And the reason behind this is because when Angelica was sitting there trying to figure out all of babies, people are like, oh, the babies aren't real, they're fake, you're not actually seeing them, they're not actually there. So when she first saw Dill, who is a real baby, he looked so much like the other babies that she didn't know. So whenever Dill would try to interact with her, she would just start punching him and beating him and being very aggressive towards him, because he's not a real baby. In her mind, he's like the other babies, and when she hits and punches and she's mean to the other babies, because they know they're not real, they just take it. But Dill's very resilient, he keeps crying, and when Dill cries, people come in, and that just confuses her more because, again, she's 3. They change her medication, and everything's fine with Angelica until she's around the age of 16 or so years old, when she stops taking her medicine. That's when All Grown Up takes place, and we see all of the characters come back in their older states, and Angelica starts seeing them again, and you know, she just sits there and she takes it, and she's like happy to be back amongst her group of not so there friends that are. So theory says that the only person who pretends and plays along with this whole thing is Susie Crabgrass. Now Susie, as a kid, comes over and plays with these kids that Angelica pretends are there, or she thinks are there, like Like, kind of like if your friend had an imaginary friend and you're a little kid, you'd acknowledge their imaginary friend because you know how much it means to them. Susie did that for Angelica. And then they grow up again, and Susie is seeing that Angelica's off her medications, and this is happening again. So again, she's playing along, and in some versions of the theory, Susie takes this story and runs off to the Nickelodeon people, whoever, and pitches the idea of Rugrats, and that's how we get this cartoon. But there are things that the theory doesn't address, like the fact that adults are constantly attending to these babies. Whenever something happens, the adults will rush over to the playpen and pick up the babies and like be like, oh no, stop crying and stuff like that. You know, like parents do to their children. They have birthday parties for the babies. Other people other than just Susie acknowledge the presence of the babies. Chucky's dad eventually goes off to France and gets married to Kimmy's mom, and then Kimmy comes over and she plays and acknowledges with the babies. In fact, Kimmy's also all grown up. So all in all, this theory doesn't really hold up, but it's a cute one. I liked it. It's the first one that got me into theories, so I thought that since it was requested, I might as well do it anyway. And I hope you guys liked it. So if you did, let me know. Give me this video a thumbs up, subscribe, leave comments. And the question is, if you believe Angelica's actually crazy, or if you just think that it was a convenient story that explains the way that Nickelodeon decided to tell Rugrats. Yeah, that's it. So next time, guys, bye.